Okay.
I thought we already started.
He wanted like a formal thing,
the
but
the wind up is always the best
David,
part.
David, just let it rip, man. The internet loves to watch all that behind the scenes stuff.
Sure. Well, we can keep some of that in. Well, if you're tuning in right now, I've got Grant Cardone with us, CEO of Cardone Capital, Bonnie Chang, host of Bonnie Blockchain, the most popular crypto show in Asia, is my co-host. I'm very excited. We're both very excited to have you back, Grant. Good to see you again. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Last time we were in Vegas together, right?
That's right. Yeah, we were supposed to meet up in Miami. It didn't happen. Let me start with this piece of news that came out. Well, actually, your tweet. Okay, let me start with this, and then I'll pass it to Bonnie. She's got a bunch of really, really hot topics for you. If the 10-year yield hits 6%, the entire planet has a 1930 depression. I woke up to that tweet, and I had a 1930-style depression just looking at that. Way to start our day, Grant. You wrote that a couple of weeks ago. What do you mean by that? I know the long end of the curve's been going up, but 1930 depression. By the way, you were on my show last year. You're on Bonnie's show as well. I recommend you check out, if you're watching, check out Grant on both our channels. You said interest rates might go to zero, rent's going to double. We're going to have a massive explosion in 2026. That was the theme here. But now you're sounding the alarm bell of interest rates going up. What's going on?
What I said, David, I said was if they hit a 6, because everybody's talking about they can't control the long end of the treasury, and that it could go to 6. If it goes to 6, dude, the world's over. Like it is literally like, you're better off having Iran have nuclear weapons. It's over. Okay, nobody can afford a 6.
Can you just explain to the average person why that's so important and why the 10-year yield in particular is something that everything is based on? And by the way, you're not alone in saying this. HSBC has literally called this, quote unquote, the danger zone at 4.5. And we're not at 4.6 even yet.
Yeah. Because I'm a real estate guy, and real estate depends on interest rates. And right now we have a mortgage crisis in this country. We do not have an affordability crisis. We have a mortgage crisis. You know, when you pick problems to solve, you got to solve the ones that are solvable. You cannot make housing affordable. Cement, labor, titles, permits, regulations, time costs money. And you can't suddenly snap your fingers and say, okay, cement is cheaper, labor's cheaper, permits are going to be approved in 1 minute. Like that's not real. Now, you can change interest rates immediately. A house costing $416,000, while it's expensive, and I agree with that, because I mean, a house is not even a good investment. The issue is the rate. Okay, America should have the lowest interest rates in the world, 24/7, 365. We have a U.S. dollar that is backed by the greatest navy on planet Earth, equal to none. It has no competition. We should have the cheapest interest rates on planet Earth for people to own a home and to operate their businesses. It's all made up anyways, you know, David, so why not just make up the rate? If rates go to 6, mortgages go to 8 or 9, and we're already in a 3-year recession in housing. It should be every headline, by the way. The housing industry has been in a 3-year recession. That is a long time to not be selling homes.
That's all over the U.S. or just major cities here we're talking about, Grant?
All over the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll have pockets like Miami where if you have beachfront, you can sell it for whatever you want.
Sure.
But you know, you have more sellers than buyers today across the board. You have longer listings today. You have people pulling their assets off the market, and you have different problems today in housing than we've ever had before.
That's all over. That's all over Canada as well. I'm just curious, Bonnie, how's the market over there in Asia? Yeah. Go ahead.
Canada's just a damn. Because Canada doesn't have long-term mortgage rates. Yeah. They have a 3-year. I think you have a 3-year term over there.
Yeah, 3 and 5 year variable, and then it readjusts.
You have a different problem in Canada. You have a cataclysmic event happening there that cannot be reversed.
What is that?
because you have a 3-year loan. Look, real estate is tied to debt. Real estate is tied to debt. The value of the real estate is because you have so much debt on a real estate transaction, the debt is going to determine whether or not the asset can be sold or not. And in Canada, you only have a 3-year term. In America, we have a 30-year term. 60% of all the debt in America on mortgages is 4% or lower. So why would somebody with a 3.5% loan sell in a 7% environment?
Yeah, exactly.
Just some quick numbers here from Taipei, right? The average salary in Taiwan, it takes 185 months average salary in Taiwan to buy like a medium home apartment in Taipei. And people have this fear that if they don't buy now, they can never afford it.
What does that mean, though? 185 months to pay for it?
185 months medium household salary to pay for a medium, like an average apartment in Taipei. Uh-huh. So, like,
is that good or bad?
It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, you know, a home is a terrible investment anyway, so I don't know what the big loss is. You should buy the whole building. Don't buy one unit. Housing is not a good investment. It is a terrible. In America, the average home in America has only gone up like 1% a year for the last 100 years when adjusted for inflation. You got a roof to take care of. You got plumbing to take care of, floors. You got termites. You got termites in Taiwan, don't you?
I guess so. I'm not the expert.
Well, of course you do. Of course you do. You got mold.
Yes,
you got all kinds of problems. You got water damage. You got problems. Housing does not produce cash flow.
It's
not a business.
There's a comment that I saw from our last video. Someone said, "What if I follow your advice, rent my whole life, and then later discover that nobody wants to rent to me because I'm too old?" There's age discrimination. It's a real thing here. What happens now?
Oh, wow. Well, you should rent where you live, and you should own real estate that provides you with cash flow. So I'm not saying that people should rent and not invest. What you want to do is rent and use the money that you would have used to buy a house to invest. So if you're going to just rent and not invest and just be a spender and a renter, well, then, you deserve everything that's coming to you when you're old.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. If you're not going to invest, you're going to be poor the rest of your life.
Before we continue with the video, let me tell you about a very important topic, which is your personal information. Now, your personal privacy is of utmost importance, probably even more so than your personal assets. And your personal information is likely online right now. Your full name, home address, and phone numbers are sitting on data broker websites that anybody can access or buy. I bet you probably didn't know that. So that's exactly why I use Delete Me. Our sponsor today, Delete Me, removes your private information from hundreds of data broker sites, and since June 2024, it's removed 204 of my listings, and my latest report shows 335 listings were reviewed last month. That's what I like. It's consistently and constantly checking so nothing slips through. Getting started is straightforward and easy. Just submit your information, and in about a week or so, you'll get a report showing where your data was found and what was removed. And it doesn't stop there. Delete Me keeps scanning the internet and removes your data throughout the year. So go to joindeleteme.com/David Lin, link in the description down below, or scan the QR code here and use my promo code David Lin at checkout. New users who use my code will get 20% off of all US plans. Take your privacy seriously before somebody else does. So Grant, with the new Fed coming on, the chair coming on this week. We're speaking the day before the FOMC, so we're recording this June 16th. We don't know what Kevin Warsh is going to say tomorrow, but we have an idea. He's the more hawkish one of the pick before he was nominated. I don't know. Do you know this guy? Have you met Warsh yourself personally?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. What's your impression of him and what he's going to do?
Well, dude, he knows how to walk the line. You really never know when you walk away from this guy what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a Trump ally. Trump hates interest rates. If it was up to Trump, we'd be at zero today. And before we went to Iran, David, as you know, interest rates were down to 3.6, and they wanted to go lower. And then Trump went to Iran. And by the way, I trust his decision to go there. I think he knew something that the American public will never know, and they'll never be able to tell us. I think he knew that there was a dire situation there because he was on the way. Keep this in mind. He was on the way to 3.6 and going lower under Jerome Powell, by the way.
Yeah.
Lower interest rates only benefit Donald Trump and the midterms. He reverses decision. He wants lower rates. He said it for, 12 years. And then goes to Iran. Rates go the other way for the last 90 days, as did oil and gas prices, et cetera, inflation threats. Now what do we have? We got Iran's over, and I think Kevin's going to come in and say, despite the spike in oil and gas, we have some, we have a responsibility to the middle class America to reduce these rates. That's what I'm hoping he's going to say.
Is Iran over, by the way? WTI is at $75 now. It's pricing in like it's over. It's just a little bit off its lows in early 2026. Before you were a real estate guy, you're an oil guy. Can the American economy?
My brother was an oil guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to get you mixed up. You're both
That's
so
all right.
talented and you're involved in so many things. But all right, so listen, before we have $100 before oil went to $100, everyone was talking about the end of the economy and how the American economy couldn't absorb that. Why didn't a recession happen the last quarter? Is it because it wasn't high enough for long enough? The oil price, where maybe we're just not as sensitive. The whole world's economy is just not as sensitive to the price of oil as it was 40 years ago.
I think we have had recessions in different parts of the marketplace, but there's so much craziness. I mean, look, Bitcoin's in a recession. There's so much wild money out there right now in the AI space, David, and data centers, and there, it's just there's a lot of optimism around all this new AI money, and then SpaceX. So I think that's why. I think you're just seeing rotations.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of rotational money right now. But there's so much money in the marketplace. There's so much liquidity available, whether it's treasury bills or money sitting on the sidelines, people waiting to do stuff. Like I know Blackstone, well, I should just say one of the big institutions, they want to sell, they want to rotate out of their apartment portfolio and buy data centers because they believe that's the new gold rush.
Now, since we're talking about SpaceX created more than 4,000 employee millionaires. But your words, you said when you have $1 million, you are as broke as possible, as close to broke as possible. So these are broke people.
Yeah. It's true.
Is it because
$1 million?
What do you mean by that, Grant?
Are you offended, David?
Well, I hope to be as broke as Grant Cardone one day. So,
dude, I stay broke. I stay broke all the time. That's why I'll never be broke. But what I meant by that is $1 million. Let's say Helen that works at SpaceX. By the way, big shout out to Elon Musk for making so many millionaires and billionaires. By the way, in the last 4 or 5 days, he made 4,800 millionaires at SpaceX. That's phenomenal. Now let's just take Helen that works at SpaceX that got $1 million yesterday. Okay, if she sells her stock, which she can't, by the way, but if she did, she'd sell her stock. She'd pay $400,000 in taxes. She has $600,000 left. And let's say she loses her job at SpaceX or she gets sick or something happens. She has $600,000 and she's 35 years old and she has 30 years left to live. She dies 17 years before she's supposed to. And she has $600,000 left to live on for 30 years. She's broke. She's broke now. She just doesn't know it.
How much money do you need to not be broke?
Well, what you really need is you need cash flow. You need cash flow that's independent from situations, from Iran's and inflations, and you need positive cash flow. You don't need cash, you need cash flow. So you don't need liquidity either. People shouldn't have liquidity, okay? People should have investments that are not liquid, that they're sure with 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now are going to 10x or 20x. Making 6 or 7% of your money today cannot be something that people consider doing. You need to make more money to outproduce the printing press in all countries, by the way. This isn't just America.
Well, let's take a look at what you're doing with your money. On May 14th, which is about a month ago, Cardone Capital awarded $600 million portfolio by major institution. This is your tweet. We will be adding 1,000 BTC to purchase, real assets, real cash flow, beneficiaries of inflation, all bought below replacement cost, long-term appreciation, rent growth. Tell us what that means.
Well, it means we're buying a big deal. It's going to be a huge announcement, by the way. We'll be adding about 2,000 units to our 15,000 unit portfolio. So it's about an 18% increase in our portfolio from a major institution. I've already mentioned their name once. Mm-hmm. And, once you start buying from these institutions, it's party time. So we're buying this all under replacement costs, well below replacement costs, about 30% below replacement costs. We're buying it, David, for like, what year are we in? 2017 prices with 2026 rents.
Okay.
So we'll put Fannie debt on it. We'll add 1,000 Bitcoin, maybe a little more than that, to the purchase. We'll be cash flow positive with a real estate Bitcoin fund of 2,000 units, 1,000 Bitcoin, cash flow positive. We're in what I believe is the greatest real estate correction I've had since 2008. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have explosive rent growth over the next 10 years.
Are you worried about Bitcoin?
And we'll continue to have. Am I worried about Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. The price?
No, I'm not worried about it.
A lot of people are.
I'm worried about how much I can get of it. Mm. But I mean, if you think it's going to zero, then there's no price you can pay today. But if you don't think it's going to zero, and I don't think it's going to zero. David, do you think it's going to zero?
I don't think it's going to zero unless we have a quantum event. I mean, if something goes to zero, it basically means either the company is wiped out, Bitcoin's not a company, or nobody wants it. So in what scenario, I'm thinking to myself, in what scenario would nobody want Bitcoin? I mean, there's cryptos and NFTs that have gone to zero. Nobody wanted them because they're not valuable anymore. In what scenario would the entire world dump Bitcoin because nobody finds it valuable? And we're back to 2008 prices. The only scenario that I can think of is if your private keys can get hacked. And then in that case, well, there's no point holding it. My question actually is, with Bitcoin down about 50% off its highs, and you're calling this real estate market the biggest correction since 2008, which is a better value right now? Real estate or Bitcoin?
Good question, David. You're putting me on the spot now.
If you were a bargain hunter, let's say, yeah.
Well, I'm doing both of them, so I'm double fisted. What's better than one weapon? Two. So what I have the best of both worlds. I'm buying real estate 30% below replacement cost, maybe 40%, with rent growth, by the way, with rent, positive cash flow. And then I'm buying Bitcoin for 50% of what it was selling for just 7 months ago.
Would you at any point consider, do you have a rule where if one asset goes down or goes up, you would sell one to finance another?
We could. When they go down, we buy more of both.
Okay.
So we wouldn't sell either one when they go down.
What if it goes up? Let's say, I'm making this up. Yeah. Let's say Bitcoin shoots up to 100K next month. Would you sell a little bit to buy more property if the property keeps going down?
Well, no. Let me give you a real example, okay?
Sure.
So I bought a deal last year. Blackstone was the debt. It went to bankruptcy. We bought it out of bankruptcy. There was 14 other buyers. We captured the asset. It was $235 million. We believed the asset was worth $335 when we bought it. We paid $235, and rather than just stealing the real estate, we added $100 million of Bitcoin. So now we're back to that $335 number. Now, it's just a matter of time, and I'm going to answer your question about the Bitcoin here. It's just a matter of time before we get back to that 335 price. I don't know if it's 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years, but sooner or later we get back to what it costs to build that. You follow my thinking?
Right.
So I have 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. For Bitcoin, I have $100 million of Bitcoin to go up. If any time between 1 and 7 years, Bitcoin went to a number where I'm like, I'm going to sell the Bitcoin today, I could. So let's say Bitcoin went to $1 million tomorrow. I have 1,000 Bitcoin. I have $235 million of real estate that we believe is worth more. I would sell my Bitcoin for, I have the right to do whatever I want. I'm running the fund. I would sell the Bitcoin for $1.1 billion. I would pay the investors their percentage. I would take my piece because we'd have a big score, and I would still own my real estate, as opposed to owning just the Bitcoin. See, when you have one asset and you sell one asset, you're back to zero assets. The way I'm doing this, I have two assets. I could sell one, I can sell the other one, but I'd still have one left. Or better than that, I could merge the two together, okay, and borrow against, in the future, David, against both assets and not sell either one of them. Because wealthy people don't sell assets. Wealthy people refinance their assets. They use debt to keep the asset for long periods of time. Because time is going to benefit both these assets, whether it's the real estate or the Bitcoin, 7 years, 10 years from now. What do you think Bitcoin will be in 10 years if you were going to give it a number? 2036.
At least
I'll
a
let Bonnie
million.
start with that one.
You think $1 million, Bonnie?
At least $1 million.
Okay, good. My real estate, today we bought it for $235. The rents today are $4,500. I believe the rents on that piece of real estate, 101 Meisner, Boca Raton, Main and Main, as good a piece of real estate as you can buy in Florida and even in America. I mean, this is pristine, institutional quality, once in a lifetime, generational purchase. The rents are $4,500 today. It's 96% occupied. It looks at golf courses and the ocean. Every window has a view. It's phenomenal real estate. The average tenant makes about $600,000 a year. So this is affordable real estate for them. We have people coming from New York that are taking 2 units, not 1 unit. We think that real estate will be $13,000 in 10 years, not $4,500. So the real estate would be worth $1 billion. The Bitcoin's worth $1 billion. The real estate's worth $1 billion. The Bitcoin's worth $1 billion. We got the best of both worlds, and we had cash flow while we waited. So would I sell it? One of them at this point, David? Maybe. Or maybe what I would do is go to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and say, guys, I want to borrow against the $2 billion. I want to borrow $300 million against the $2 billion value, and we're going to create a Bitcoin Fannie Mae mortgage product. Okay.
I hate to interrupt right now, but we got an email from your assistant about 3 minutes ago saying you have a hard out right now. Sorry about that.
Oh, I appreciate
screw those people, David. Screw those people, okay? You guys are the most important people. It's a tax audit. Why do I need to talk to the IRS? They'll wait.
We'll cut this out. Don't worry.
We need to keep
You don't need to cut it out. You don't need to cut it out. I'm getting audited by the IRS again. This will be like the 5th audit. They do this to me constantly because I have made public announcements that it is my intention to do everything possible to not pay federal income taxes.
Oh.
And I legally not pay federal income taxes. So the fact that I'm getting an audit is not surprising.
Of course. Back to the Bitcoin question.
Okay.
Tech stocks have been doing very well. Why should someone buy Bitcoin instead of buying tech stocks?
Yeah, it's a great question, Bonnie. I'm a long-term investor, so I bought SpaceX Friday, and I sold it 28 minutes after I bought it. I also bought Bitcoin. Also bought Bitcoin Friday, and you know, I may never sell that. So I don't. You know, I could have made more money on SpaceX if I'd have held it till today.
Why didn't you?
Well, because I wanted to take my little score and move on down the road. You know, it was a short-term investment. It was get in, grab it, go. Now, I believe SpaceX will correct. I believe 3 months to 6 months from now, when the original investors start, you know, are able to liquidate, they will, and we'll have another entry point on SpaceX. And I would buy that for a long term. I would buy that for long periods of time. Look, I'm a long-term investor. I'm buying for 10 and 15 and 20 years. In the case of SpaceX, you know, it was I believe that there was so much retail going after that investment that it would spike. They priced it right, by the way. They did a great job of pricing it. And that all this retail would go grab it. People would make a bunch of money on it. And I thought it would have pulled back by now already. But that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be a liquid in and out guy. I want to make investment. I want to make a decision and ride or die with it.
Kevin O'Leary said, if you want personal financial freedom, you need $5 million liquid in the bank.
Who said that?
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Kevin. Kevin's a good guy, but I think it's more than $5 million.
What's the number?
Well, it depends on how much you want to just enjoy your life and how much you want to help other people. But at $5 million, if it's in a treasury bill, you're earning $250 a year, so you're earning, you know, $20,000 a month. I don't think you're helping anybody else if you're earning $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, you live in Miami, you live in New York, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. You know, your part of the world, it's going to take more than $20,000 a month. You're not helping anybody else. You might take care of your kids and your cars and your house, but I thought Kevin O'Leary was a more generous person than that. I didn't know he was so selfish.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about retirement here, guys? Are we talking about, because you mentioned cash flow is what you need. You know, if you got $5 million liquid and you have a business, I'm not going to care about my 2.5% on my T-bill. So are you?
No, this is talking about $5 million in T-bill.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, all Bonnie said was you have $5 million. That's what you need to retire or something.
I see.
Now, do I have a business on top of that? Do I have other investments? That's a different story. So I don't need any money, by the way. I want no money. I don't want any cash.
Your lifestyle is very expensive, though.
My lifestyle is what?
Very expensive. Very expensive.
Not really. I'm not a big spender.
I don't know.
Why
because I see your yacht shorts, and you know you're enjoying the view and the sunset and your private jet.
Yeah.
Those are expensive.
Yeah.
And you enjoy those things, right?
Yeah, but not. It's not expensive. You have to know the rest of the picture to know if it's expensive or not, right?
Okay, share the picture.
So like I only live extravagantly from free cash flow. The only time I spend money is when it's passive income. I never spend any of my earned income ever. And I believe this, like this is financial advice right here, okay? Like if a person only spent their passive income, only passive, they would never ever be broke. Okay. So basically what I do is I take all my earned income and I invest 100% of my earned income. I only live, if I want to buy a house, it has to come off of passive income. If I want to go on a yacht trip, if I wanted to buy a yacht, it would have to come from passive income. If I wanted to buy a plane, it would have to come from passive income. I would not use earned income to buy a plane, a watch, a trip, or a house. I would only use passive income. I would take my earned income, turn it into a better investment. I'd have my business income come in, grab as much as I can, either reinvest in my business or reinvest in another business or investment that cash flows. Like SpaceX, I wasn't in SpaceX for more than a day because it doesn't cash flow. I want cash flow. Because as long as I have enough cash flow, I have a saying, how stupid can you go? You can go as stupid as your cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as you have passive cash flow that cannot be interrupted, and what would that be? That would be real estate, gold, no, silver, no, Bitcoin, no. By the way, Bitcoin doesn't cash flow. A single family home doesn't cash flow. So I'm gonna look for things that have passive, long-term cash flow.
For a person that earns, let's say, $100K, what would that be?
It would be a $400,000 real estate complex that would pay them $5,000 or $7,000 a year in passive income, or it would be a storage units. Like real estate is the greatest passive income play there is.
But you also said real estate is not an investment.
No, a house is not an investment. A house is real estate, but that's not the kind of real estate I'm talking about.
Would you be into commercial real estate right now, by the way? I was reading an article that commercial real estate demand is surging, which is curious because according to CNBC, office use employment is still down 2% from 2022. I wonder how much of this is due to data centers demanding space, but I'll let you comment on this. You know more than me.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, any office built, office, hotels, storage, hotels probably less. Hotels are more of a business. Office, more of a business than apartments. Our apartments are a business. Like you got to still take care of the tenant, but data centers, the average person's not going to be invested in data centers. These data centers are taking $10 and $15 billion. So now, but what can people buy? The correction is in storage, single, multifamily homes. Look what Warren just invested in. They invested in a home company, right? They're buying at scale, by the way, properties they can rent. I would buy office right now. I would buy retail right now. I would buy storage right now. There's a massive rotation. The big institutions are rotating out of those assets, and they want to push all this money at these data centers. And one thing from osmosis of the big institutions for the last 20 or 30 years, look, they're not always right. Mm-hmm. And they tend to follow one another. There's a big group think over there. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a trend right now. Several startups, including Span, are putting mini data centers in your backyard. You're an owner of many properties. Would you look into this?
100%. I would love to have these mini data centers.
Okay. That's something you would invest in. All right. Bonnie, I'll pass it back to you for now.
I would like to add 15,000 little tiny data centers to our 15,000 units.
Batteries as well, perhaps.
And then I would share. Yeah. I would share it with the tenant. By the way, I would share the profits with the tenant. See, we let our residents invest in the real estate. So when we do a real estate deal, like we did that deal I mentioned earlier, the first people that we went to were the tenants. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, I'm buying this building. This is what I paid for the building. The rents are $4,500. You can also invest in the building, or you can pay rent here. And we had people that are like, okay, yeah, I'll invest in it. How much do I need to invest to pay my rent? So we have people investing $1 million in a property to pay their $4,500 a month rent. So now they're an investor and a residence. And if I added the little data center, I would make them part of that upside. And that's going to keep my tenant longer.
What if they say no? How do you negotiate that?
How do I negotiate it?
Yeah. You're the best salesman.
I set the terms of the deal. I create a deal structure that's good for everybody, and it's a win-win for everybody. And then I offer it. They either take it or they don't take it.
When you enter any negotiation, do you have like a framework that you follow, and then you have to get certain outcome?
Yeah, certainly. With some parameters. You know, I don't negotiate anything I don't want. number one. Most important thing in negotiations is you want something. Don't negotiate on something you don't want or that's not valuable. So like we're very selective in the real estate that we buy. And I'm very selective in the assets I invest in. That's why I'm so, I think Bitcoin's a steal. Yeah. I think if I could buy a $64,000 asset and wait 10 years for it to be $1 million, I'm totally fine with that. I don't think it ever goes to zero. So I think money and internet become more prevalent, not less. And so, Bonnie, to answer your question, I don't negotiate on anything I don't absolutely want. The number one question is, do I want this asset for a long period of time? If I do, now I go pursue it. Same thing with employees, same thing with a wife, same thing with a yacht, same thing with a plane. Don't negotiate on junk. Negotiate on best in class. I bought a plane last year. I bought a Global 7500, best in class plane. I knew when I bought it I could sell it. Okay, I've owned the plane 7 months. I've had multiple offers on the plane because it's very rare, hard to replace. Did I negotiate the price? Oh yeah, I negotiated the hell out of them when I bought it. And now I'm going to negotiate the hell out of it when I sell it.
Are you a better negotiator or is Trump a better negotiator?
Oh, Donald Trump is he's the damn master of the universe, dude. Stop it. Because he does a thing called stacking.
Explain
better
that.
than anybody that I know. Okay? You guys know what stacking is?
Accumulation of one asset. Is that what you're referring to?
When you're negotiating, stacking is a strategy. It's a bit of a shock and awe, and then stacking. And it goes like this. The first thing we're going to do, in addition to making America great again, and then he's going to start stacking. We're going to take Canada, if you guys remember when he was doing this. We're going to make them the 51st state. Now, before you were in shock and awe right now. Before you could even complain, he's like, and Greenland, okay, and we're going to change the Gulf of America to the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, okay. He stacks. So before you can complain about one thing, he's going to add another thing for you to complain about, knowing that you're going to complain anyway. It's ask and then ask and then ask and then ask again, knowing that you're going to get a piece of this ask. And Donald Trump, man, that guy, number one, he knows how to negotiate. Yeah. Number two, he knows how to control the narrative and the marketing. And negotiations is very much a marketing, not just an ask game, but also a marketing game.
Let me just add to that, if I may. I read The Art of the Deal a long time ago. I was in high school at the time. The main takeaway that I apply to my life currently still is never take the first deal. Always say no to the first offer. That's helped me throughout job negotiations, salary negotiations, current deals I'm making right now. I'll pass it back to you. What do you think?
Yeah, no, like really? Really? That's what you're thinking? Oh my gosh, that's disappointing. That's a way to say no without saying no. Really? Are you kidding? Come on. Can you check on that again? Because that can't be right.
I love it.
No matter what you'd offer me, I'm going to do that. Now, my wife is just going to roll over and say, here's the card. Okay. Women are terrible negotiators, by the way. And the reason women are terrible is because they don't negotiate. They just think that, look, I don't care where I'm at. Okay. I bought my daughter had this great achievement and she wanted a Cartier watch. I called Cartier and I said, guys, I want a deal. Well, we don't deal on that watch. Okay. Well, who can deal on it? Okay. Cause you guys made the number up. What do you mean, Mr. Cardone, we made the number up? Well, the number's made up. Okay. The number you want for that watch, a handful of people sat in some conference room and decided it's going to be this number. There's no research. There's no science behind the number. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you made it up means you can make up something new now for me.
Yeah. I have one final question about wealth and wealth gaps. And then I think Bonnie has a bunch of life questions that are super interesting for you. When Elon launched the SpaceX IPO last week, he hit trillionaire status for the first time in human history. And all over social media, you had people disliking that fact. In fact, in Canada, in the Globe and Mail, they ran an op-ed called "Elon just became the first trillionaire. Here's how to hate him properly." Left-wing politicians, Elizabeth Warren, for example, posted videos and long speeches about how we need to tax the billionaires, tax our corporations. This is a wake-up call for America. AOC, the whole gamut. The left just went bananas on him, and this is a growing trend. I want you to comment on this because I don't live I don't live in the States. Neither does Bonnie. But according to Gallup, the rise of socialism in America is real. People have, when asked by Gallup, which is for the people watching this, is a major polls surveyor in the United States. People were asked, capitalism or socialism, which system do you prefer? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that number was more in favor of capitalism, especially for the Republicans. But in both parties, especially with the younger people, they have progressively voted more towards socialism when asked the exact same question every single year by Gallup. Why do you think that is?
I think because the media is slowly building a case that the youth are priced out. It's a propaganda machine to create dissonance and to tap out the people, to have people tap out and give up. It's an old game. It's propaganda, and I think it's the best time in the history of the world to make money. I've never, ever seen a better time for someone with nothing and someone that's young and someone without an education to get rich. Never in my entire lifetime, and including history. This has never been a better time.
Because of technology, or why?
Because you have AI that can assist you to do anything today for free. By the way, people will no longer have excuses. Okay, you will not have an excuse. Oh, I'm the wrong color. Oh, I was born in the wrong neighborhood. Oh, I didn't have access to education. You have access to everything today. There will be no excuses. And you look. All you got to do is go on Instagram. You can see people living their best life today. Unbelievable people with low IQ scores. Okay, you see women making money on the internet, men making money on the internet. The Paul brothers making hundreds of millions of dollars in a sport they know nothing about. So, the wealth gap, it's real. By the way, the wealth gap is never going to go away. There's the people that want it and the people that don't. Most people don't actually even want it. Most people they would rather be off than be rich. And there's some people that are they want to be rich. What Elon did. First of all, I don't think that Elon David is the first trillionaire. I think there's a handful of other trillionaires walking the planet right now that live in the shadows. Putin's one of them. But that being said, he should be awarded, rewarded, and people should be making statues of this guy right now. All of his equity is in shares. It's not like he cashed out. He doesn't have any money. He's made 4,800 millionaires in a day. He's got a female president that's now a billionaire because she's riding along with him. Maybe Elizabeth Warren is upset because she didn't get any of the IPO.
You shared a video on Instagram about poor people. I found it really interesting. You said poor people call everything a scam. That was a video of you and Kevin Hart. But Kevin's argument was that the system is designed for poor people to fail.
Because everything around me is set up for me to fail.
He said it's designed what?
For poor people to fail.
Yeah, maybe. But, I don't. Kevin's on a yacht today, by the way, in the south of France. So Kevin grew up poor, and so did I. So don't be a poor person. Don't have a poor mindset. Don't hang around poor friends. Don't spend your time.
What is a poor mindset? We can have a poor bank account. That's easy to quantify. What do you mean by poor mindset?
If you have $1 million, you're poor, man.
Well, those are problems that, I like to have, but yes.
No, I agree with you, by the way. If you have $1 million and you stop, you are poor.
Yeah.
But you have a poor mindset, by the way. You have a poor mindset because this is what happened. A guy goes from zero to $1 million and he stops doing what got him to $1 million. He's poor.
That's what you mean.
Okay. Because now he's acting like he's like, okay, now I'm done. Okay, no, dude, you're not done. You don't even, if we bubbled out all the money on the planet, I couldn't find your bubble. You don't exist in the universe. You're a grain of sand on a beach. There's so much money on planet Earth. It is unbelievable. There's never going to be a shortage of it. They're just going to print more of it. Cash, treasuries, equities, and we're creating new companies all the time. So we have a trillionaire. We have a known trillionaire on a Friday afternoon. He's picked up $200 billion in equity this morning. Yeah. This never happened in the history of the world at scale, okay, at accelerated rates with new companies and fewer employees. This has never happened. It used to take 30 years to do this, okay, or 40 or 50 years. And you had to be in the railroad business or you're creating banks. Now you're creating millionaires and billionaires out of thin air. They say there's like 3,000 billionaires on planet Earth. There's probably more like 9 or 10,000. I know I'm not on the Forbes list, but I know exactly what my net worth is today. And there's a lot of guys out there like me that are private individuals that aren't on the Forbes list because they own private companies. This is just America, but you got the Canadians, you got the Mexicans, you got South America, you got all of Asia. Then you got all the money, the shadow money that lives in the shadows out there that we probably have 9 or 10,000 billionaires on planet Earth, hundreds of millions of millionaires. And when these people start moving around the planet, they're bringing entire GDPs with them, David. And they're going to buy yachts. We're going to have a shortage of yachts, big, heavy jets on this planet, and great houses. We're going to have inflation at levels we've never seen before just because these people, inflation on superior assets. Garbage assets, mediocre assets are not going to get inflated. It's going to be these wealthy families that are going to be like accumulating the ranches, the premium assets, and that will continue to happen because it's always happened. And nobody should be vilified for it. Certainly no one should be victimized for being poor. If you're poor, don't be poor. There's no payoff in being poor.
How would you don't be poor?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Don't decide not to be poor.
How do you do that? Okay. What's the first 3 steps?
Decide to be wealthy. Decide on wealth. Okay, whatever. First, you have to make a decision. If you're hungry, you got to make a decision to eat. You can't complain about being hungry and feed yourself. First thing to do in anything is to make a decision. I have to make a decision to create wealth for myself, not to simply take whatever comes my way. Make a wealth decision. Number 2, learn what wealthy people do. 80% of all the wealthy people in this country are first generation, still today. Okay, first generation. Elon's one of them. Like, look at Elon. Look at Ken Griffin. Look at Steve Schwartzman. These guys all started from nothing. And that's happening today. And that look at me. Like I was raised by a single mom, no money. I had more debt at 25 than I had assets. And not only did I have a money problem, I was broken spiritually. I had a drug problem for 10 years. This isn't a made in America story, by the way. This is not, it's an American thing. This is an anything, anybody, anywhere thing that, unless you're in Iran or Gaza Strip, you have to make a decision to create wealth. Number 2, you have to learn what wealthy people do. 3, you got to start doing the things they do. And you can't hang around poor people and create wealth. It's impossible. You can't act like a poor person and create wealth. You have to change. And I'm just speaking from personal experience. I had to change everything about me in order to create wealth for myself, then to maintain it. Kevin Hart and I had this conversation. Like he had to change himself and he had to change his posse.
What do you say to the people? What do you say to the people that claim the system is rigged? It's meant to keep poor people poor. And so the way to stop being poor is just get the system to tax the rich and distribute it to the poor.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it is rigged.
But what do you say to the income redistributionists?
I say, look, this is never going to happen. What do I say to my black friends that are waiting for 40 acres and a mule? Hey, bro, you got a better chance of buying 40 acres and a mule than you have waiting for the system to give it to you. And by the way, you might not want the 40 acres or the mule that the government gives you, because the government will never give you abundance. They will only give you enough to imprison you. And that's every government on planet Earth. They will never give you freedom. They will only give you enough leash, enough room, enough chain that they continue to control you. So if you believe the system is rigged, I agree with you. Now you need to learn the system. Don't hate the player and don't hate the game. Learn the player, learn what they do to game the system and play it. The wealthy people don't pay taxes. We all know that. Teach me that game. Mm-hmm. Wealthy people typically don't start new businesses. They buy them. Elon, he bought every company that he owns. He didn't start them from scratch. Teach me that game. Okay. Wealthy people don't talk about, I went to college and that's how I got rich. Okay. Good. Teach me that game. I don't need to go to college. Wealthy people tend to raise money and use debt. Teach me those two games.
Yeah.
I had Gary on the show last year and I asked him whether rich people are actually happier and nicer because they have fewer problems. And he basically said, quote, if you want to find out how flawed you are, make a shitload of money. Do you agree with him?
I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, I understand what he's saying because you're gonna, you go from zero and then one day you have $1 billion and you're like, oh, I'm still not happy. Or you're on the private plane and you're like, oh, I don't have anybody to roll with me. You're going to see the flaws are going to get magnified. So I agree with that part of it. But I don't think that the two should be, I've never thought that money would make me happy.
It doesn't?
I wanted to win at the game. I thought money would give me choices. I didn't think money would make me happy. I'm like, look, I can have no money and still be happy. I don't have any money. I'm happy doing this with you guys right now. I don't need any money for this. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to be a service. This goes back to Kevin O'Leary saying, what do you say, $5 million could make you happy? Maybe, if you don't want to help other people.
Yeah.
But I want to help other people. And if you want to help other people, by the way, you need a bigger boat. I can buy a boat big enough for me and my wife and my 2 kids, but can I get one big enough to bring you guys out? And now I'm sharing it with other people. It's options. Having money is an option. I was in Barcelona for one of my employees' wedding this past week. He had his wedding in Barcelona. I thought it was very selfish and self-centered of him to have a wedding in Spain because the Americans had to fly to Spain to get there. So, but you know what? It costs money to go there and it costs time to go there and then it costs a hotel and then it costs a car and all that. So when I left Barcelona, 2 other people, guests that went to the Barcelona wedding, were going to Saint-Tropez and they had a hotel. I said, wow, I'd like to go I'm already over here. Why don't me and the wife and the kids go to Barcelona and hang out with these guys? They're nice people. They're investors. Well, the hotel didn't have any rooms and I couldn't find a room close to them. So I called my buddy in the south of France and said, bro, can I get a boat for a week? last minute, I need a boat. Now, I'm going to get a boat big enough for me or big enough for me and my friends. That takes money. And by the way, we got a boat for me and our friends and some other people to visit. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how much money do you want? Not just for me. You want to share it with other people. And I agree with my brother when like if you're lonely and you have no friends and you're not a nice person, just because you have money doesn't mean people are going to want to be around you.
Is the pursue, like looking for happiness, the wrong pursue? I think I asked.
Yes, 100%.
Why is
100, that? 100. Because happiness is this fleeting thing that you have to work for all the time. You know, I don't. I'm happy. Does it matter that I'm happy right now? I'm doing this with you guys. Like, I didn't do this with you guys to be happy today. I don't go to the grocery store to be happy. I go to get groceries to put in the refrigerator so we can survive and eat. Most of what I do doesn't make me happy. I do it because I need to do it in order to sustain, survive, win, and be in the game. 80% of what I do doesn't make it's not a happy moment. It's work. It's a work moment. I don't go to the restroom to make myself happy. I go there to relieve myself.
Isn't that the ultimate goal, that people want the FU money and the FU freedom, that you don't have to do any of that anymore?
Well, I can tell you, no matter how much FU money you have, you still will have to relieve yourself. And you will still have to eat. And somebody's going to have to go to the grocery store.
Not
Somebody's
you.
going to have to do the market. Yeah, I do. Yeah, well, somebody has to. Look, if we're all going to eat, somebody's got to sell.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to go out and get a sponsor. Somebody's going to have to go out and ask for money. Somebody's going to have to market. Somebody's going to have to do something to show up. Now I don't think, Bonnie, most people's biggest problem, this goes back to David and the poor system. Most people simply aren't even going for it. They've tapped out. They gave up before the game even started. And this is what I meant about the propaganda machine. The propaganda machine is designed to divide people and create haves and have-nots that are mental haves and have-nots. Because, at least in this country, anyone can have anything they want. I was in the south of France. I met a bunch of people over there that started with nothing, and they have unbelievable lives. And you guys have all interviewed people that started with nothing, decided to have something, and figured out how to do that.
Do you remember the day when you told yourself, today is the day I want to change?
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, I was 25 years old. I was 25. Well, it was really, I had, from the age of 15 to 25, I had made that decision every day. But there was one last time where I said, I'm going to change my life. And that was the day it started. Because prior to that, I had said it many times because I was disappointed with myself. But I didn't pull it off. I wasn't able to execute on the change. But, here I am 40 years later. I'm still trying to change. I'm still trying to become a better version of myself.
What, if you could live another 40 years, which I hope you do, what would you want the next 40 years to look like?
What are you talking about? People live to like 150 now, David.
That's true. Okay, so let's just take that out. 40, the next 40 years, Grant. What do you want to change?
I mean, dude, I want to be a good example. First, the most important thing to me is to be a good example. And then add to that, I want to do it my way. So I do want to be an independent person doing it. I don't want to become you.
Okay, let me just address the elephant in the room. A lot of people on the internet don't think you're a good example. What are they getting wrong about you?
Because they, yeah. Like what did you read? What did you read, David?
I'm reading all sorts of things. I'm reading all sorts of things on the internet. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Grant Cardone's not being honest with his sales seminars. He's not being this and that. He's being sued by this and that. By the way, this happens to everybody. Anybody can get sued. I'm just saying there are people on the internet, not me. There are people on the internet who don't think you're a good example. So what would you say to those people? What are they getting wrong about you?
I wouldn't say anything to those people.
Yeah.
So I would just tell those people, you don't know me. I mean, if I had to talk to them, I'd be like, none of those people know me.
How do you deal with all this negative chatter every day? How does that affect you?
My sister called me up the other day. She's like, how do you do this? I said, what? She's like, oh my God, man. I went on the internet. The next thing you know, I get served up something about Grant Cardone. And then she's like, they're saying you're a fraud. They're saying you're this. They're saying you're that. I'm like, yeah, dude. It comes with the turf.
Yeah.
So, no matter what I do, okay, we'll hit $6 billion of real estate this year. I've raised over $2 billion over the internet. I have never missed a distribution. Never. Okay. The biggest institutions in the world, all of them, all the names I used earlier, like Brookfield. Brookfield has missed stop redemptions, gated redemptions, sent real estate back to their investors. I've never done any of that, but people still say, "Oh, Grant Cardone's a scam." So that is what it is, man. It's just none of those people have ever met me. How do I handle it? I just go do another deal, man. Mm-hmm. I don't even know these people.
Yeah.
Now it does bother, family members.
Sure.
Because they're reading it saying, is that true? No, dude, it's not true. Why do you even stop it?
Right.
But look, if you're gonna build we probably have, with all our companies, there's probably $10 billion in assets. I reach 200 million people a year on the internet. I'm a privately held company that is very public. I do a deal, I tell you guys about it. Hey guys, I just got awarded $600 million of deals. I'm buying a deal for $90 million in Naples right now. I just did a deal. We're getting ready to raise $500 million $50 million for 10X Health Systems. Hey, by the way, I got a lawsuit going on. Okay, class action lawsuit. Two investors, one investor for $10,000. I fought it for 4 years now. I've spent $3 million on it. I've won in the California courts twice. I've raised $2 billion and I have $10,000 that's upset, that's suing me. I've spent $3 million over $10,000. So it happens. I voted for Donald Trump twice, 3 times now. I fundraised for Donald Trump. I spoke at a number of his rallies. I like Donald Trump. Some people don't like me liking Donald Trump. So, some people don't like that. I've had people not do deals with me, David, because of stuff they've said on the internet about me.
That's right. I mean, don't you pursue some of these people that say things about you that may or may not be true? I mean, isn't that a defamation case? I mean, isn't that don't you lose money from stuff like that?
Well, it's terrible. It's awful. But every once in a while, I'm like, okay, we're going to slap back at this guy. I was involved in a $100 million defamation suit that was settled last year out of court with a Fortune 100 ex-CEO, founder of T-Mobile. Yeah. And, that was a very public thing. And I'm the one that made it public. Mm-hmm. And I made it public to send a message to all the other clickbaiters. Now, I'm not going to go sue somebody who doesn't have anything.
Yeah. But
when it's the appropriate time and there's a point to be made, then you do it. But dude, it just comes with the surf, with the turf, it's part of the game.
Mm-hmm. If you don't,
I'm a public person. Now, by the way, I'm being sued for $1.5 billion right now by 2 other people.
It just doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop. Is it worth it? Absolutely.
Okay.
Do I want this part of the game? No. But this is what I was saying earlier. You can't, people are like, oh, I don't want to get rich because I'm going to have Grant's problems. No, you want to get rich and you want to have my problems.
How do you prep your daughters? Because they're public right now. And it must be tough, if you see negative comments about them. Now, what do you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm like, hey guys, get ready. It's coming. You want this life? This is coming. So we prepare them for it. My kids are homeschooled. They've been hanging around us for a long time. We've made them very public. My kids have been speaking on stages and working for the company since they were 6 years old. They don't get an allowance. They're on payroll. They're required to do certain things. And I'm like, if you want this life, you're going to work for it. You're not guaranteed to have this. If you want it, grab it. If you don't want it, somebody else is going to grab it. So, and by the way, there's going to be people that don't like what you do, just like they don't like your papa. But again, these people don't know me. No one that has ever said, there's not one person that has ever said or written an article about me on the internet that's met me, ever. Just part of the game, man. It's not real to anyone until it happens to you. Until you get in the public eye and see what people start saying, like no one can explain. Because you could just open it up. Just Google Grant Cardone's net worth. And you're going to have people saying that I'm not worth what they don't even know what I'm not worth. Like, it's insane.
Well, how are they getting these ideas from? I'm just curious. Like, is there any, Grant Cardone's not worth this amount of money. Like, what is the basis for that claim?
Don't know. I don't know why they even write about it, except to get Google Google ad dollars.
Yeah.
They're getting clicks. And when they're done with me, they're going to go do somebody else. I mean, there's sites that's all they do.
Yeah.
David, if I give you $100 million tomorrow, they're going to, and then you were seen with me, they're going to probably pick you up and use you for a bit.
Do you care, David?
Probably. I mean, that's, if people.
And then they're going to do Bonnie. They're going to be like
that already happens.
Bonnie. Yeah. Grant and Bonnie are having an affair. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Grant and Bonnie made an Asian baby and called it 10X.
I'm not a billionaire. I'm not anywhere near the kind of level of wealth we were discussing. But any public personality is going to get some. No one's called me a fraud or a scammer. But I get hate all the time, every single video. But I only suspect this would scale up as one gets bigger in wealth and recognition. Yeah, I understand Bonnie's question.
A banker was in my office recently, and he had a couple other people with him. And when they left, he stayed back and he says, "Hey, I got a question. How do you handle all this stuff on the internet?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Dude, he's like, I have a responsibility when we're lending you money.
Yeah,
all this gets delivered to me." I said, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "Well, it looks to me like you instigate some of this." I said, "Yeah, okay." And he's like, "Is it a net positive?" I said, "Yes, it is. There's a net positive." He's like, "Well, how do you work it out?" I'm like, "Bro, look, here's the deal. People are going to remember the name. They're not going to remember the details." Tylenol was taken off of every shelf in every store in every country and city on planet Earth. It is the #1 best-selling headache medicine on planet Earth today. People remember the name. They don't even remember why it was removed. J.P. Morgan, $5 trillion J.P. Morgan has been sued many times. Lost billions of dollars in lawsuits. Okay? They're still worth $5 trillion.
Yeah. I think the last segment, I think we can move on from this. Bonnie's got some questions
about relationships. Are you ready for this?
Well, we just talked about me and you, Bonnie, having a relationship and having a baby.
I'm talking about Elena.
And Elena, one of your viewers should create a meme with me and you and baby 10X. A little Italian Korean hybrid.
David, I think your audience is going to love this.
and get the internet going.
Oh man. So many layers. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead. I pass it to you now.
I love watching Elena's videos, and there are some things that she said about your relationships, and I like your take. She said, do not discuss your relationship problems with your friends.
Yeah.
Do you follow that too?
Yeah, I would never go to my friends and say, hey, I'm having a problem with X.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to a
It's our relationship. It's our relationship. You know, it's me and Elena to work out. It's not me and Bob to work out, me and Elena. Mm. You don't go to a third party for advice on your problems with your wife. And I definitely would go to a psychologist or psychiatrist to talk about it, because they have the highest suicide rates and highest divorce rates on planet Earth.
So you would not do couple therapy?
Well, I would not do couples therapy, because I know that couples therapy doesn't work, because I've done it before. I didn't do it with Elena, but that is not there is no technology there that proves that the relationship graph improves. There's no science. It'd be like me taking a vaccine that hadn't been tested. That's what relationship therapy would be like.
What is the purpose? Well, I just have one question, and then I know Bonnie has a few more. What is the purpose of marriage? More and more people are cohabitating without marriage all around the world. Fertility rates are declining. Where Bonnie's currently based, Taiwan, I think, is one of the worst in the world. What is it?
Lowest.
0.2 or something? Lowest, yeah. Lowest fertility rate of all developed nations in the world is Taiwan. Anyway, Grant, my question is, why get married?
Yeah, I think the purpose of marriage is to create a family, to solidify and commit to a relationship where you're going to build a family together, and you're going to stick it out, and you're going to go through hell. And by the way, you will go through hell. You're going to build something together, grow together. It's very challenging. I've been married 22 years. There's times where it's tough, man. You got your own stuff to deal with, the other person's stuff to deal with. Then you bring kids into the fray. You got to deal with them. It's not an easy thing, but it is the most valuable thing that I've ever done in my life, is to have a family and have kids. I can't imagine having the success I have and not having someone to share it with intimately. That would be lonely as well. If something happened to Elena, I would, I'd be miserable, man. You would think, okay, a guy's got a bunch of money and he gets to do what he wants. And it's not like I'm going to be by myself. Somebody's going to be with me. But do I really want that revolving door? I've had that in my life before. I know how miserable I was. And so for me, I'm a guy that likes monogamy, likes to have stability, at least in that place in my life, because there's enough random stuff going on. And, back to the haters, dude, like, people are going to say, David Lynn doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, I get this all day long, like to the point you don't even look at it anymore. Mm-hmm. And so that's when you want to go back to your wife and kids and the family unit and a handful of friends. Like, I don't have a lot of people in my life. I don't have tons of friends and buddies, and you're lucky to have a good wife, a couple of good kids, a handful of friends. If you have all that, man, and you happen to have some money to go with it and did it your way, dude, you got a charmed life.
Do you think you would have been this successful without the family? Well,
I know for sure I wouldn't have been, because I I wasn't married. We didn't have kids till I was 51. It's when if you look at my graph, at 51, everything exploded. And we were starting to have babies.
Why is that?
So I don't know. I think there's something about the unit. I think there's something about two can pull more than one can by himself. Even though I did all the work, by the way. Elena did not do the work. I did the work. I'm the hammer. She's the dreamer. And I'm the one that went out and killed everything. So she's the queen and I'm a warrior. I'm not a king. I'm not really a king. I'm really more of like I would be a warrior king, like frontline guy going out to grab something. But I like doing that. I would do that whether Elena was here or not. Now, she can manifest. The beauty of the woman, to me, the aesthetic is one thing, but the second thing is the ethereal, she's a much lighter being than I am. I'm very heavy, live in an effort band. She's a much lighter particle, if you will, that's a dreamer, more of a dreamer. And you put the two together, you got a great combination. So I don't think I would be as successful without Elena. I would be successful.
There's this theory that, in a lot of modern relationships, two people with alpha personalities or, they end up just fighting and instead of building together.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Anytime we've had any problems, anytime Elena and I have had any problems is when we were not fully in our roles. And if we've ever had problems, it was like, you don't need two warriors here. Okay, I can't be in warrior mode, and she's going to go be in warrior mode, and we're going to come back tonight and celebrate. No, you're not. You both been in warrior mode. It's already hard enough when one of them's out there killing stuff to come home and not think that there's a threat in the environment. Like, man, this is not an easy thing to do. I'm competing with some of the biggest institutions in the world. I'm being lied to every day, attacked every day, used, worked, manipulated, negotiated with. I'm dealing with guys that have 100x more resources than I have. I'm a privately held guy trying to find the glitch, jicking and jacking, trying to make my way in the universe. And, when you're dealing with Blackstone and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and the IRS and the government, blah, blah, blah. And then you come home and you're like, the last thing you want to do, man, is have to worry about your home environment being a threat or being competitive. Mm-hmm. Like Elena asked me once, she's like, if I made more money than you make, how would you feel? I'm like, brother, it's never going to happen. Number one, never. It's not possible. Number two, if it was, I'd be cool as long as you make a lot of money.
Do you think the man needs to make more money for the relationship to stay?
I do.
Yeah,
I think I think the woman should be at home raising kids. I think there's nothing more valuable than a woman at home, personally. Now, I know that's going to sound sexist and old and blah, blah, blah. But look, we're going to lose our civilization if we don't have kids. Taiwan will cease to exist. Mm-hmm.
South Korea as well. That's a fact. South Korea.
Let me ask you this.
Anywhere you go below 2.4, you're going to cease to exist. You can never reverse the civilization at even a birth rate of 2.0. I think it's 2.0. You're done. You can't reverse it.
Yeah.
Okay, but your daughters, they're super capable, independent. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, how do you find a guy that match that, right? You want them to be independent.
Look, being independent doesn't mean you need to be, doesn't mean, it doesn't mean my girls, they shouldn't go work. They shouldn't go kill themselves working like that. There's no reason for them to do that. They should find some killers. Mm. Okay. If my kids are smart, they would figure out how to multiply what I leave. Mm-hmm. But look, they're on their own. They got to figure out their way too. Like their way might not be my way. I think the best example is what Sam Walton left and what his kids did with what he left. Sam left I think he left around $50 billion. And, the least successful of the Waltons is worth $13 billion. The least successful doubled. The most successful is at 118 today. So they figured out how to multiply what the old man built. And I think my kids would be smart to do that. Now, would that mean that they picked the right guy? That's going to be hard. That's on them, though. If they don't get prenups, though, I won't give them a penny.
One quick introduction. You want to propose to a woman. She says yes. Then she says, "I'm not signing a prenup." What's your next response?
I'm like, look, we're going to get a deal. We're going to get a deal now. We're going to get a deal later. You understand? Not signing a prenup today is worse for you than it is for me.
Yeah.
Okay? Because later what's going to happen is we're going to go to the courts and then we're going to get a negotiation. So if we're going to have to sit down and work it out, well, why should we be planning on divorce? We shouldn't be. So let's just do a deal.
Sure.
I don't have a prenup, by the way. And it was a mistake for both of us, by the way. It was a mistake for both of us. We weren't willing to confront that conversation around money. And if two people cannot confront that when they're getting married, guess what? You will never be able to confront it later. And two lawyers are going to get involved, and they're going to steal a third of your marriage. And they're going to create a lot of problems for you. So it's best for two people to simply sit down and say, look, you came to the party with this. I came to the party with that. When we build together, this will be the split if we can't make it all the way. And then it's worked out, and then everybody knows what so something's not held over one of the two people. Because something's going to, if it's not worked out, David, something's going to be held over. David, you're not going to know what she's going to get, or she's not going to know what she gets, and then everybody's in this doubt thing in those troubled moments.
I have one final question, and then I'll pass it to Bonnie, and then it was a pleasure speaking with you today, Grant. Learned a lot. We've talked about building wealth. I want to ask for your opinion on how to preserve wealth. Well, let's say you're somebody who is you or of your stature, and you want to preserve your family's wealth. History is rife with examples of wealthy families losing all their wealth over generations. The Vanderbilts, for example, I was reading just the other day by, I think, the 70s at a family reunion. It was revealed not a single Vanderbilt family member was still a millionaire. They lost... in today's terms, billions of wealth over a few generations, which is not very long when you think about it. How did that happen? How do we prevent that from happening?
They gave too much to two people that couldn't carry the weight, the water, Yeah. Like you cannot give people more than they can handle. And so what I'm doing is building a trust so that when I pass, certain criteria has to be met to make sure they can carry the weight of whatever's left. Because it has been done successfully, by the way. I just brought up Sam Walton. His family did it perfectly. Mm-hmm. There's no deadbeats. There's no problems in that family. He raised a bunch of good kids. He brought them up right, gave them a great education, taught them the value of money. I've done the same thing with my kids. I haven't proved out the case yet, but he certainly did a great job with them. And those kids took, whatever wealth he left and actually multiplied it. I think 5 of them have been in the top 25 list for decades. So, it's upbringing, training, education, agreements, written agreements. And while I'm here, teaching my kids how to do things like Bonnie asked earlier about negotiating. Like my kids have to negotiate. My kids, when the bill comes, my kids don't pay for the food, but they have to decide on the bill. Is it right? Will we overcharge for something? What's the tip going to be? Mm-hmm. Okay. My kids have been involved in major negotiations with me since they were 6 years old. They're in the room with me watching. Trump did this, by the way, with his kids. That big litigation that you brought up earlier with T-Mobile, One of my daughters was in the mediation, in the room when this thing's going down. If you've ever been in a mediation, they can be very nasty. So that's the other thing. The way to prepare people, to prepare children, is to put them in the environment. We've been homeschooling our kids since they were 6 years old, so they've seen everything. Mm-hmm. They hear the problems and the challenges. They're in the room, and I think that's going to be a big benefit to them in the future.
My question is for Grant and David. Do you think, what are your thoughts on going Dutch in relationships?
Oh, I'll let Grant take that first.
You mean
50-50, splitting the bill?
Yeah. Can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
I want to hang around people that fight to pay the bill. That I was with a guy this weekend. I'm like, I couldn't pick up the bill fast enough. Like, the guy picked up every bill. He wants to pay. People should want to pay.
Is he Chinese? I'm just curious.
That's every Chinese.
No. Why do you say that?
Because that's Chinese culture. If you go eat at a Chinese restaurant with some Chinese friends, that's what we fight. Anyway, I'm just
especially older people or parents. They have to fight the bill.
Yeah,
but I agree with Grant. Please continue.
Yeah, I mean, you just it's so empowering to pick up the bill. But I also want to be around other people that can pick up the bill when they can too. Like, because you never want to be in that subservient situation. Now, me splitting the bill, okay, baby, you pay for half, I pay for half. It's ridiculous. It's a complete waste of time, by the way. And it's a scarcity mindset.
Let me just add to that. I completely agree. The man should pick up the bill. A relationship shouldn't feel transactional, like, oh, I get the bill, you get the bill next time. Like, what's the point? But I like it when the girl or the woman does something for me just to contribute, but she doesn't have to pick up the bill. It could be something else.
Yeah.
Right.
And it could be like my wife should be
just
like,
to show that she cares, right? Just to show that you're part of this. You're part of this team. You're not just for a free ride, but she can express that in other ways besides paying for her bill.
Yeah. And like Elena and I, the way we do money is she has her own money. Okay. I have my own money. I control the money in the household because I'm the earner. I'm the earner of the household. But she has her own account. She has her own money, and she can. I don't think Elena's ever bought dinner. If she's buying dinner, it's because I didn't bring my card or because she wanted to. She's like, let me get dinner tonight. It's a nice gesture. Now the kids from time to time, even though they don't pay most of the time, I'll be like, hey, you're buying dinner tonight. And it empowers them. Mm-hmm. It makes them feel like, okay, because they have their own money too, by the way. They work for the company, they get a salary since they were 6. And then that money gets invested in Cardone Capital. Cardone Capital pays a dividend every month, and they can live off their dividend. So if they want a dress or something, I'm like, you have your own money. And that empowers the kid. And when it's their own money, by the way, they're like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to spend $160 on a dress. I can just wait. But if it was my money, they'd be like, buy it right now. I need it.
All right. On that note, I think let's wrap. This was a fantastic interview. I think I haven't seen you this open and frank in a while on other shows. I appreciate you doing this here. And, it's important that people get a very human side of you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're not constantly
David,
get attacked by people who don't know you. It's important that you explain who you are as a human being.
Well,
Yeah. So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, David. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And the next time you're in Miami, let's have you in the studio and really appreciate what you guys do. I know these shows aren't easy. Doing interviews isn't easy. So, congrats to you for giving somebody, giving people something to look at and learn from.
Thank you. Yeah, look forward to seeing you in person. And thank you for watching. Thanks,
you, man.
Bunny. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.